What kind of world would you like to live in? What kind of world? What kind of world will it be? What kind of world is it? Ah, this is a world of feeling good. I want to tell you about this because this year, our Science of Mind, our Centers for Spiritual Living theme is Grand Rising. So when you get up in the morning, grand rising, this is how we want to experience this world. And so let's start with that today. I know we've been talking about it all month already. I don't know if you noticed that or not. Grand rising. So serving as an example of love and light in the world. Now that feels good. That feels good to me. Um, my sister was with me for the last 2 weeks, and so I'm the big sister. So I was, of course, modeling an example of love and light in the world. Well, most of the time. But that's what we do, right? It's like we bring that energy of a grand rising to the world. And when we do that, we also bring it to ourselves. So this year, the idea is to remember that our voices matter. What we do matter as individuals and collectively, we are changing the world. So we all know for the last few years, things have kind of been discombobulated. We had the global pandemic. Things are going on. Oh my gosh, I don't know about you, but I got kind of shook out of my comfort zone. I had a routine, I had something going on, and now everything's changed, and even it doesn't even go back the same way. We know that. So we've learned a lot. And with all of the lessons learned and the wisdom that we had, especially when we were by ourselves, of course, in meditation, uh, so we have an opportunity to participate in this grand rising to kind of shake off the years that came before and step into this new world. And it's a wonderful new world. So it's time for us to emerge, and we emerge driven by our faith. We lead with courage and we move with action. It is time for our grand rising. Now, how do we do this, you ask? Well, I'm so glad you asked. We lead our collective grand rising by living the principles. Now, we live our principles, and I know Teresa read the What We Believe statement that was originated by Ernest Holmes. Now, you don't have to memorize that statement. It's not, the Apostles' Creed or something. And we don't even think that you're going to believe every word of that statement. You may or may not. But those are the principles of Centers for Spiritual Living. That is a statement of our principles. That is our foundation. Well, speaking of principles, I noticed that Teresa said that heaven is within us. Well, I have a little story about that. Okay, 3 house pets, a golden retriever, a parakeet, and a cat. All die and go to heaven. Well, see, we know heaven's within us, so there you go. But let's just for the story. So, with all good animals, God decides to have a personal discussion with each one to see where they will stay in heaven, as if there are levels. So, God turns to the golden retriever and says, "The book of life indicates that you have been a very good boy. But tell me in your own words, what are your ultimate principles? What do you believe in?" And the golden retriever, all waggy, says, "I believe in loyalty, companionship, and love. I have been a cherished part of my owner's family for many years." And God smiles. He says, "Oh, truly, you have a pure and loving heart. You shall sit at my right hand." And then he turns to the parakeet and he says, "Well, what do you believe?" And the parakeet says, "Well, I believe in color, flamboyance, and music. Maybe that's the quality of beauty." Anyhow, the parakeet says, "For many years, I have displayed my beautiful feathers and filled my owner's house with song." And God says, "Your beauty is truly magnificent, and your song shall echo through the universe. You shall sit at my left hand." And then God turns to the house cat. "And you, majestic little predator, what do you believe in?" And the cat, as they do, lazily surveys God's throne and says, I believe you are sitting in my seat. So we all have principles. We all have principles that we live by. And in his influential book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, remember that from years gone by, Stephen Covey outlined the difference between principles and values. In his view, principles are rules or laws that are permanent, unchanging, universal in nature. And values are internal, subjective, and they may change over time. So Covey cites various principles, including fairness, integrity, honesty. He says this, he declared, a principle is a natural law, like gravity. If you drop something, gravity controls. If you don't tell the truth, if I don't tell the truth, you won't trust me. And that's a natural law. So other principles, well, you may have heard of the Peter Principle from the book by the same name. And the theory there is that people in a firm will be promoted up to a point where they are no longer qualified. Or you may have heard of the Peter Parker Principle, named after the action movie hero Spider-Man. And he states, with great powers come great responsibilities. Actually, I think I heard that much before Peter Parker. And principles in our lives, you will observe that even in our households, we have principles. For example, when dropped from an apple tree, bread always lands butter side down. Or the same mess that will fill a 1-car garage will also fill a 2-car garage. I don't know if you've had that experience, but these are principles, all right? Something that's true. In the Science of Mind magazine, Dr. Petra Weldes wrote, the principles of science of mind articulate the basic ideas of the theory and philosophy of the science of mind. The principles help us understand the nature of reality, the infinite presence, the universal law, the nature of creation and our place in it, and who we are in the scheme of things. However, principles are more than just intellectual ideas. They form the foundation for the way we engage and co-create our lives. So if we have principles and we sit on them, then we're just sitting on them. So along with those principles, we need a vision. And that's the next part of it. Proverbs 29, verse 18 says, without vision, the people perish. Another way I've heard that said is where there is no vision, the people are unrestrained. That's a different translation. And that means they can't focus. They can't reach their goal. They can't follow their dream because they don't have any dream. And I've seen this in my own eyes. Without vision, people lose the vitality that makes them feel alive. At least that's true for me. If I don't have something I'm working on or working toward, it's like, well, what am I doing here? So I always have to have something that's coming up, something next, whether I'm planning a vacation and my vision is to go and explore and meet new people and new worlds, have a vision. And so the Centers for Spiritual Living has a vision. And you've heard it. I know you've heard it. Creating a world that works for everyone. That's the vision statement. And there's actually more to it than that. Let me read it for you. It says, a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. Envision this, where all life is honored as expressions of the divine, where people live according to spiritual truth, where humanity awakens to spiritual magnificence, where humanity rediscovers personal creative power, and where we live as one global family, where kinship with all life is sacred, where unity and connection is emphasized, where forgiveness is the norm, and where spiritual guidance is valued, where we're called to conscious social action, where people have enough food, home, and a sense of belonging, and where there is peace, harmony, and justice for all, where resources are valued and cared for and shared, where communities are meaningfully involved in service to the world, and where there is a renewed emphasis on beauty, nature, creativity, art, and aesthetics to serve the souls of all. So I first saw this global vision statement in about 2012. And so 11 years ago. And gradually we see things coming from that vision. And so this year we're being invited to put this vision into practice by participating in this grand rising. And in order to do that, we have to say, what does a world that works for everyone actually look like? And then what actions must be taken in our own communities to put this principle into practice? So Reverend Rainbow always talks about being here by divine appointment. Each one of us born at this moment in history for a reason. And we're drawn to this teaching for a reason, for a purpose. And so as we start living that, as we start each day with that grand rising, we're creating a ripple across the globe. Now, this vision is in alignment with the values. And remember, in Covey's view, values are beliefs and opinions that people hold regarding specific ideas or issues. And ultimately, they are internal, subjective, and malleable. And they may change. If a given belief or opinion is something that might be altered, then it's a value. So at the Centers for Spiritual Living, not only do we have principles, which you heard as Teresa read, and we have a global vision, which you also heard, we also have values. I don't know if you all knew this. There are values-based spiritual living. And the first value, spiritual living. How about that? So that's about as we learn and practice our philosophy, the science of mind, we live principle-centered, spirit-led lives and turn to our principles for guidance in all moments and all areas of our lives. That's the first principle. The first value. Second value, spiritual living as diversity and inclusivity. We value and embrace and celebrate the individual uniqueness and contribution of all people as they express through differences of gender, race, ethnicity, culture, history, experience, talents, and sexual orientation. We include representatives from all our organizational constituencies in leadership, in sacred service, and in decision making. Third value, spiritual living through education and continuous improvement. We walk a path of awakening, growth, and spiritual deepening through classes, workshops, seminars, and spiritual practices that allow us to embrace education as a lifelong endeavor. Hence, we offer classes. Spiritual living through transformation and evolution. We do deep inner work of self-discovery and healing to reveal greater truth of our divinity, wholeness, and freedom. Remember, we're always practicing. Spiritual living through creativity. We allow the ongoing activity of spirit into our hearts, minds, and activities to bring forth new forms and expressions to inspire and guide. Yeah, we do that. I see Teresa doing it in the slides that she creates every week for us. I see all that creativity, and it's delightful. And also there's a thing called accountability. That's a value. We account for our activities, disclose them in a transparent manner, and accept responsibility for our actions and the obligations entrusted to us. We're talking about that right now in the class of the 15 commitments. And we have open communication. We communicate openly with each other in an atmosphere of collaboration and inclusion. Yeah, we do that. Another value, love, compassion, and caring. Well, we're all about this. We embrace love as the self-givingness of God to all creation, moving through us into expression as compassion, caring, mutual respect, and kindness. We express interest in and support for the well-being of ourselves and others. We express unconditional love when observing the suffering of others and do what we can to give aid and show compassion. Another value, love as community service. We dedicate our time, talent, treasure, and expertise to the healthy and joyful evolution of our spiritual community and our larger community, the greater community of the world. Love is safety. We create a community-wide climate conducive to honest reflection deep and direct communication. In financial health and prosperity, we express order and balance in our finances and experience optimal financial well-being. Through the richness of our teaching and its application, we value the principles of abundance and its expression as prosperity as a means to provide resources to empower our personal and collective vision. And the last one, we value integrity. We embrace the quality of being honest and strive to let our inner convictions match our outer actions. We express wholeness, honesty, and fairness in our relationships and activities. And again, how do we do this? How do we incorporate this into our life? So we have principles, we have a vision, and we have values. Now, the founder of Science of Mind, the philosophy, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said in the Sermon by the Sea given at Asilomar, he said, "Find me one person who is for something and against nothing, who is redeemed enough not to condemn others out of the burden of his soul, and I will find another Savior, another Jesus, and an exalted human being. Find me one person who no longer has any fear of the universe or of God or man or anything else, and you have brought to me someone in whose presence we may sit, and fear shall vanish as clouds before the sunlight. And find me someone who has redeemed his own soul, and he shall become my redeemer. Find me someone who has given all that he has in love without morbidity, and I will have found the lover of my soul." For something against nothing. Wow. That is a huge charge. So that is also at the center of our teaching. Loving ourselves and each other is the center of our teaching. I don't know about you, but sometimes it can be very difficult for me to practice. So how do we advocate for growth and inclusion of all people when some people really want to fight that and they want to, be in competition, and they seem to want to cause conflict? So how do we advocate for growth and inclusion of all people? Did you hear that? All people. I know the bumper sticker, love everyone, no exceptions. Yeah, you can smile at that, but wow, what a charge that is. Oh my goodness. So weekly services, classes, workshops, events, they're designed to provide this infrastructure of the how. And, it's been said for some time, oh, Science of Mind is the best kept secret. And it can be so healing and hopeful and healthy for the world. And we seem to be keeping it to ourselves. So we're uniquely designed to serve as something that the world can blossom from and benefit from. So we're being invited to live our truth out loud, to lead with love, and to trust in the Spirit more fiercely than ever before. So as we practice these beliefs, we advocate and express love for everything else. We are consciously co-creating a world that feels good, a world that works for everyone. So what kind of changes would we make, individually, collectively, to co-create a world that actually does work for everyone? So there is something more to this, and I want to just bring forward our own Austin Center for Spiritual Living. We follow these principles. We have the vision. We have the values. And those are for the Centers for Spiritual Living. And we are affiliated with that. But in the Austin Center, we also have our own vision, our own purpose statement. And this is something that we developed together some years ago, probably about 5 years ago. And the vision Austin Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community growing together in love and joy. And our purpose, and you heard Rainbow talk about this in the beginning, our purpose is to inspire magnificence, explore spiritual principles, practice affirmative prayer and meditation, care about each other, and contribute to the consciousness of the larger community. And so we've uh, kind of defined our part of that global vision. And it's an idea that perhaps we could revisit this and look at it in the light of a collective grand rising. You'll see on our website our motto, "Come grow with us." Wow, that's inviting. Come grow with us. So our ability to connect and communicate with each other more easily has set this stage for a global shift. We can communicate now over the miles. We don't have to have people in the pews, in the seats on Sunday morning. We can expand beyond that. And we are equipped with everything we need to move forward. We're already practicing, we have the training at least to practice non-judgment, inclusion, loving kindness, peace in our own communities. And we're meant to feel good, to shine, to lead, and to co-create, again, this collective grand rising. So I think perhaps co-creating a world or community where everyone feels welcome and supported requires us to expand. It involves letting go of what we need to get, like we need to get more diversity in our centers. It's a shift realizing the value of attracting and serving a diverse population beyond just getting them in the door. Because once they arrive, they need to feel empowered, supported, and celebrated. I know you've probably heard me tell the story about being in an intentional community in England, Thona, and I was so impressed because there was a man down on his luck, let's say, that was passing through and knocked on the door and wanted to know if he could dry his sleeping bag. But of course, Athona has no dryers, so he didn't have that. But he was invited in to partake of breakfast. He was invited in to participate in our morning quiet time, our morning meditation. And not only that, but what impressed me the most was that he was given a job in that morning meditation. And his job was to blow out the candle, which hit me as a way to honor and respect him. And I was clueless. So it's incumbent on all of us to invest time and effort into ensuring that we are attracting and we are serving. And this is not done with one event, or it's not done with one phrase or one statement. It's honoring the diverse voices, and it must be who we are and what we do. And this collective grand rising requires that people from all walks of life have a seat at the table. Now, I don't know how this is going to happen. I just know that if we have the vision, it will come about. And people will step up, and we will attract people who do know how to do this. We'll attract people who have the time and energy and wherewithal to be in love. And each one of us has a part to play, and, you know, I don't know, maybe my part might be to, gosh, I don't even know yet. Maybe my part is to keep bringing the principles and vision and values forward. Uh, you know, maybe your part is to make sure the website is attractive and attracting people as it is. And whatever it is that you do, maybe your job is just to invite somebody. Maybe your job is to send the link and say, hey, join us on Sunday mornings or come to our class or whatever it is. But there's something for each one of us. So let's just take that thought into our morning meditation. And so recognizing we are part of something great. We are part of this grand rising, that there is a power and a presence, an infinite source that is beyond what we can know, beyond what we can see. It is in the feeling. It is in life itself. It is the breath. It is closer than hands and feet. It is that beat of our heart. One power, one presence, everywhere present, in every person, every place, all of the time. And so I stand with that. I stand in the knowing that this is true. And from that place of oneness, I speak my word, affirming, accepting, recognizing that there is more love in this world than we can possibly imagine. And as we simply open our hearts to that, it radiates from us and to us in perfect right ways. And relationships are healed. Love is expressed. And the world is a better place. I speak my word for prosperity in this world, knowing that there is more than enough to go around. As we open our hands to give, we also receive. And so as we give back to that place from which we've received our spiritual food, oh my goodness, we can't outgive God. The more we give, the more we receive. That's just how it works. Whether it's in cash or funds or treasures or time, whatever we give more of, we receive more. So giving thanks for this. And also giving thanks for the creative expression. Oh, the creative expression. We are so able to creatively express all of life in such a magnificent way through art, through music, through poetry, through creative work in the world. Ah, what a wonder it is. And also we express that divine health, the wholeness, knowing each person is complete, perfect, and whole, that there is a divine pattern for that wholeness, and we open to it. And when we do that, the world is healed. And I'm so grateful for this revelation, so grateful for this truth expressed. And in my gratitude, I rest. I know that it's so. I know that the law works. And so I relax into it, releasing this word to the law, knowing that it is done. I invite you to join me as together we affirm, and so it is.